On the day Adama was to marry the love of her life, the village sky wept blood-red tears. Her groom had no shadow. Her mother screamed and fainted. But it was already too late. The drums had started, the spirits were watching, and the living could no longer interfere. Welcome to the woman who marries a spirit, a haunting tale of love, secrets, and the price of seeing what no one else can. You're watching Nightfall Tales by Wura, where African legends are brought to life like never before. Subscribe and let your spirit journey begin. Now, let's begin the story. The Stranger by the River. Adama was 17 when she first saw him. She had gone to the river at dawn to fetch water. The sky was still waking. A layer of mist floated across the surface of the water like the breath of sleeping spirits. The forest whispered, as it always did, but that morning, the wind didn't dance. It listened. Adama bent to scoop water into her clay pot when she saw a figure standing across the river. A tall, calm man dressed in white. His skin glowed softly, almost as if the mist obeyed him. He smiled at her, not like a stranger, but like someone who had always known her. She blinked. He was gone. She looked around. Silence. She told no one. After all, she thought, it was probably just her eyes playing tricks in the morning fog. But that night, she dreamed of him. The same face. The same eyes. Standing beneath a moon that bled red into the ground. Days passed. Then weeks. Until one afternoon, while helping her mother at the farm, she saw him again. This time he spoke. His name, he said, was Obinna. And he had come to the village to find a wife. Adama laughed. A wife? From this village? You don't look like someone from here. Obinna smiled again, that strange smile that made her heart race and her stomach twist. Some things are not bound by place. The more he visited, the more everyone in the village began to notice him. His strange way of speaking. His odd silences. The way animals seemed to avoid him. Chickens ran. Dogs barked. Cats hissed. But the humans? They adored him. Especially Adama. Obinna brought her gifts, jewelry that shimmered even in the dark, fruits no one in the village had ever seen, and fabrics softer than anything she had touched. Her parents were cautious, but he was polite. Respectful. And most importantly, rich. By the time the elders asked about his people, Obinna had already built a hut near the forest and claimed he was from across the great hills, where rivers ran backward and night fell before sunset. Few questioned it. Except Adama's grandmother. Old Mama Ife. That night, she warned Adama, her voice shaking like the dying flame of an oil lamp. There are men. And there are things that wear the face of men. Child, do not marry a shadow. But love, or whatever it was, had blinded her. And when Obinna asked her to be his wife, she said yes. The sky roared the day they fixed the wedding date. But nobody listened. The wedding with no shadow. The entire village gathered for the wedding. It was the grandest ceremony Amuzu village had seen in 50 years. Palm wine flowed like rivers. Drums echoed like thunder. Dancers twirled till dust rose into the heavens. The bride, Adama, was dressed like a queen. Gold on her neck. Coral on her wrists. A head wrap like a rising crown. But as she stepped out, her grandmother wept. And in the shadows of the trees, the animals gathered. The goats refused to move. The birds stopped singing. Even the wind held its breath. Then came Obinna. He was dressed in red, bright, blood red. His steps were smooth, gliding across the earth as if his feet never touched it. He smiled as he approached the elders, and everyone clapped. Everyone except Mama Ife. Look, she shouted. Look at his feet. The crowd looked down. He had no shadow. At first, they laughed. Mama Ife is too old. Her eyes are weak. But the truth was there. Plain. Clear. He had no shadow. And still. They danced. Still, they married. When the final rites were done and the drums died down, Obina took Adama by the hand. "It is time," he whispered. "Time for what?" she asked, heart pounding. "To take you home." Adama thought he meant the hut near the forest. But Obina kept walking. Past the trees. Past the river. Past the edge of the village. Until they stood before a path that had never been there before. A path made of bones and petals. A path that glowed. And as they stepped onto it, the earth behind them vanished. The kingdom beneath the earth. Adama's breath caught in her throat. The moment they stepped onto the glowing path, the world she knew dissolved. No trees. No sky. No sounds of crickets or drums. Only silence. And then, whispers. Whispers from the ground. From the wind. From inside her own mind. She gripped Obina's hand tightly. "Where are we?" Obina looked at her, his eyes no longer soft. They were glowing. White. Empty. "Welcome, my bride," he said. "To the realm of spirits." Suddenly, they were standing before a massive gate made of living branches. Faces moved within the bark, crying, laughing, screaming. The gate opened by itself. Adama wanted to run. But her feet were stuck. Her heart was frozen. Beyond the gate lay a city unlike any she had ever imagined. Floating palaces. Waterfalls that poured upwards. Trees with golden fruits. Beings that shimmered like light and moved like smoke. Some had no faces. Some had too many. Some wept blood. Obina led her to a palace carved into a mountain. "This is your new home," he said. She whispered, "But I can't stay here. I'm not like them." He held her face gently. "You are now." That night, she was dressed in silver. Spirits surrounded her. They danced. They sang. They celebrated her arrival. But their voices were hollow. Their eyes empty. Their smiles painful. And as she looked into the mirror in her chamber, Adama gasped. Her reflection was fading. Bit by bit, she was disappearing. The spirit's secret. Adama could no longer see her feet. It wasn't that they were gone, they were still there. But her reflection no longer showed them. When she moved her hand, the mirror followed, halfway. Her image was fading like an old dream. She hadn't eaten since she arrived. Obina said spirits don't need food. But Adama was no spirit. Not yet. She wandered the palace, searching for answers. Everyone she asked smiled but never spoke. They bowed, but their eyes were distant, hollow, tired. It was as though everyone in this world had once been like her, human. She found a hallway of portraits, brides. Hundreds of them. All beautiful. All wearing the same silver robe she now wore. The last frame was empty. And beneath it, a plaque. The one who still remembers. Her heart began to pound. Who were these women? Where are they now? She raced through the corridors, her voice trembling, "Obina!" She found him seated beneath a tree that whispered in strange tongues. "I saw the wall," she said. "Who are they?" His smile didn't reach his eyes. "They were like you," he said. "Chosen. Blessed. Where are they now?" Obina's silence spoke volumes. Adama turned to run, but the ground twisted beneath her. She screamed and suddenly found herself in another part of the palace. It wasn't a room. It was a prison. A garden of stone statues. Women. Dozens of them. Frozen in agony. Their eyes still full of tears. Adama staggered back. Then she saw it, one of the statues was holding a comb. The same wooden comb her grandmother gave her on her 16th birthday. The same design. The same crack on the corner. She stepped closer. Mama Ife, she whispered. It was her grandmother. Turned to stone. Adama collapsed, her scream shaking the halls. The escape plan. For days, Adama refused to speak to Obinna. He came with gifts. She threw them away. He came with stories. She closed her ears. But deep inside, fear had begun to birth something else, strength. Adama was no longer the wide-eyed girl from a Mozu village. She was learning. Watching. She noticed the spirits only moved freely at night. During the day, they vanished or became shadows in the walls. She noticed a large door behind the palace that remained sealed unless Obinna himself opened it. One night, while he slept, Adama crept into the palace library, a place she was told never to enter. There, she found the Book of Passage. A black book with pages that whispered when opened. It spoke of the world between worlds. Of how spirits crossed into the land of the living, and how the living could return, but only at a price. The price? A blood tie must be broken. One must remain behind, so the other may pass. Adama wept. She thought of her mother. Her brothers. Her father. The life she once had. Could she ever return? And if she did, who would stay in her place? That night, she had a dream. Her grandmother, no longer stone, stood in a field of fireflies. You must find the mirror beneath the mountain, she said. Only it can show you who he truly is. When she awoke, her door was open. The spirits never left doors open. Someone had been inside. And they left a message scrawled in coal on the floor. You are not his first wife. The forbidden mirror. The mountain behind the palace was sacred. None were allowed there, not even other spirits. Obinna had told her it was the dwelling place of the great sleepers, beings older than time, guardians of ancient secrets. But now, Adama had no choice. She waited until nightfall, when Obinna left for the Council of Shadows. He never let her follow. He always said, you are safer not knowing. She crept out of the palace with nothing but the coal message in her hand and the comb from the statue garden, her grandmother's last gift. Her only weapon. The path to the mountain was silent. No birds. No breeze. Only the soft sound of her breath and the beating of her terrified heart. She reached the cave. Inside, the walls glowed faintly, lit by veins of something that looked like liquid gold. Strange symbols flickered. And then, at the very end of the tunnel, she saw it. A mirror taller than a house. Carved from obsidian. Surrounded by 7 burning torches that never went out. She stood before it. At first, her own reflection stared back. Then, slowly, it changed. Her face faded. Another face appeared. Obinna. But not the one she knew. His skin peeled like smoke. His eyes turned black. Horns curled from his head. His mouth opened and voices poured out. Thousands. Crying. Screaming. Calling her name. Adama fell to her knees. And then she saw the truth. Obinna was not just a spirit. He was a collector. A being that married human women, fed off their souls, and trapped them in the spirit realm. Each time they faded, he grew stronger. Each time one was forgotten by the world above, he gained another year of immortality. And worst of all, Adama was already fading. Her name had been erased from the minds of her family. Her mother no longer remembered her face. Her father no longer spoke of her. In the land of the living, she was vanishing. She had only one chance left. Return before the next red moon. Or be trapped forever. Whispers of the forgotten. The cave shook. As Adama backed away from the obsidian mirror, a scream ripped through the air, a scream that didn't belong to her. It was ancient, layered, and full of rage. The mirror cracked. Cracks that bled. She stumbled out of the cave, panting, her thoughts spinning. Obinna is a collector, a soul devourer. I am fading. My family no longer remembers me. But why? How? What happened to the others before me? She needed answers. As she wandered the ghostlit paths, she saw shadows moving between the trees. Not spirits. Not Obina. Something else. She followed one. It led her deep into the roots of the mountain, where no light touched the earth. There, in a hollow cave surrounded by weeping trees, she found them. The forgotten brides. Not statues. Not spirits. But something in between. Shadows wearing human memories. Their voices were broken, their bodies transparent, but their pain was unmistakable. They called her name. Adama. She froze. How do you know my name? One of them stepped forward. Her form flickered like candlelight. We all knew love once. We all were chosen. And we all paid. Adama fell to her knees. Is there no escape? A bride with no mouth spoke through thought. There is one way. But it has never worked. You must awaken the spirit who sleeps. The name shook the earth around them. Who is that? Adama asked. The first collector. The one who cursed Obina. The one who holds the true mirror of souls. If he is awakened, the realm will fall. But he sleeps beneath the root of the oldest tree, the tree of lost names. They all pointed north. But before she could ask more, the air turned cold. The shadows fled. Obina had arrived. He did not speak. He did not scold. He simply looked at her, and his eyes were wet. I gave you everything, he whispered. Everything. Adama looked up at him, defiant. Accept the truth. I loved you. No. You consumed me. Obina's face twisted, not in anger, but sorrow. And then he vanished. But Adama knew it wasn't over. He was watching her. And he knew she had found the others. Now, her time was running out. The next red moon was 3 nights away. The Tree of Lost Names. The journey to the Tree of Lost Names was forbidden even among spirits. It stood beyond the gray lake, past the hollow hills, surrounded by a forest that wept blood from its branches. Adama walked for hours, through mud that whispered regrets, past flowers that screamed when touched, under skies that blinked like watching eyes. Then, the forest began to speak. It called her name. Not in threat, but in sorrow. Adama! Adama! A voice she hadn't heard in years, her mother's. She turned. And there she was. Mama! But not fully. Just a flicker. A shadow of memory. The last thought her mother ever had of her. Adama ran to her. Mama! Her mother touched her face, and for a second, warmth filled her body. But the figure began to fade. No! Wait! Don't go! Her mother smiled. Child! I don't remember your face anymore. But my heart still weeps for something I cannot name. Then she vanished. Adama collapsed to the ground. She was almost forgotten. She reached the tree at dawn. It stood like a titan, black, leafless, with names carved into every inch of its bark. Names of people who had vanished from memory. Names of women. Children. Entire families. At the foot of the tree was a hole. She crawled in. Inside, it was warm. Then hot. Then unbearable. And then she saw it. A being asleep in roots and flames. The spirit who sleeps. Its body was made of mirrors. Its face was none and all. Its breath burned. Its chest rose and fell once every 100 years. She stepped closer. But just as she reached out, Obina appeared. Not in anger. Not with weapons. But with tears. Please, he said. Don't wake him. Adama didn't speak. He stepped forward. I was once like you, he whispered. I was human. A boy who fell in love with a spirit. She betrayed me. She cursed me with eternal hunger. I devoured to survive. I loved you because you reminded me of what I used to be. I'm sorry, he said. But if you wake him, I die. And so do you. Adama trembled. The spirit beneath them stirred. You cannot save everyone, Obina whispered. No, Adama said, stepping forward, but I can free them. She touched the heart of the sleeping spirit. And the realm broke open. The return of the forgotten. The world collapsed. The palace cracked. The sky split. The rivers reversed. Spirits screamed. The forgotten brides opened their mouths and light poured out. Names returned to the lips of their mothers. Their fathers. Their children. Across the world, memories were reborn. Adama was falling. Falling through mirrors. Through time. Through pain. She landed in a forest wet, coughing, gasping. Birdsong. Human voices. She sat up. She was in Amuzu. Back home. But the village had changed. It was older. Her house was smaller. Her mother, grayer. She walked through the streets, but no one recognized her. Until Mama Ife. Her grandmother stood beneath a tree, eyes wide. She smiled. You made it. Adama ran to her, collapsed in her arms, and wept. I thought I was gone, she cried. You were. But you chose truth over comfort. And now, you are free. The next day, the village gathered. Adama told her story. Some believed. Most didn't. But none could explain the statues that now stood in the river, statues of women with tears on their cheeks, holding combs and mirrors and fragments of their past. Adama never married. She became a storyteller. She warned young girls to never trust the man without a shadow. And in the forest, sometimes, when the moon is red, a figure dressed in white can be seen. Watching. Waiting. Moral of the story. 1. Love without understanding can be a trap. Sometimes what looks like love is a test, a disguise, or even a curse. 2. Not every path is meant to be followed. Curiosity without wisdom can lead you to dangerous places you may not return from. 3. Never ignore the warnings of the wise. Elders, dreams, and gut feelings are often the only light we have in a dark world. 4. Truth is painful, but it is the only path to freedom. Even when it shatters what you believe, truth will always set you free. 5. The power of memory is sacred. When people are forgotten, they fade. Remembering others, especially those lost, is a powerful form of resistance. And so, Adama's journey came to an end. But the scars of the spirit world never truly fade. She returned with her soul, her voice, and her truth, but not everyone is that lucky. Many are still trapped, forgotten by those who once loved them. Bound in silence. Waiting to be remembered. So if you ever feel something calling your name from the shadows, look twice. Not all who smile mean you well. This was The Woman Who Marries a Spirit. Thank you for watching. Speech balloons, share your thoughts in the comments. Pushpin, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you never miss a story. Until next time. Stay safe. Stay curious. And never walk alone at night.